Cardi B couldn't stop crying. Not the dramatic, on-camera tears fans were used to seeing during emotional performances or award speeches, but the kind of raw, uncontrollable sobbing that comes from a place so deep it shakes your entire body. Because what just happened to Stefon Diggs hit her harder than anyone expected. The moment everything changed. It started quietly. No red carpets. No flashing cameras. No social media warning. Just a phone call. Cardi was in her hotel room, still in her robe, scrolling aimlessly through her phone, half listening to the city outside. She had been waiting to hear from Stefon all morning. He'd promised to call after a private meeting, one he had sounded strangely tense about the night before. When the phone finally rang, she answered instantly. And within seconds, her face changed. At first, there was confusion. Her eyebrows tightened, her lips parted slightly as she listened. Then came silence, long, terrifying silence, followed by a shaky whisper. What do you mean? The news that broke her. Stefon's voice on the other end was calm, but too calm, the kind of calm that only comes after someone has already cried their tears dry. What had just happened to him wasn't a scandal, or a rumor, or even something fans could easily understand. It was devastating. Something he had worked toward for years, something that defined his future, his identity, his sense of purpose, had just been ripped away in a matter of minutes. No warning. No second chances. No room to fight back. And Cardi felt it instantly. She slid down the wall, phone still pressed to her ear, her knees giving out as tears welled up faster than she could hold them back. This can't be real, she whispered. You don't deserve this. Cardi's breakdown. By the time the call ended, Cardi was already crying uncontrollably. Not loud at first. Just shaking. Silent tears soaking into her robe. Then it hit her all at once. She covered her mouth, trying to breathe, but the sobs broke free anyway. Her chest tightened, her hands trembled, and she curled into herself on the floor like she was trying to protect her heart from shattering completely. This wasn't just about Stefon. This was about watching someone you love break inside, and being powerless to stop it. Why is it always the good ones? Hours later, Cardi still hadn't stopped crying. Her team knocked gently on the door. She didn't answer. She replayed every conversation she'd had with Stefon in her head. Every late-night talk. Every time he'd reassured her that everything would be okay. Every time he'd said, I got this. And now. He didn't. She opened her phone, fingers shaking, and typed a message she deleted 3 times before finally sending. I'm here. I don't care about anything else. I'm here. Stefon's pain hits her harder. What broke Cardi the most wasn't just the loss, it was how Stefon was handling it. He wasn't angry. He wasn't blaming anyone. He wasn't yelling. He was quiet. And Cardi knew him well enough to understand that his silence meant he was hurting far more than he was letting on. That's when her tears came back even harder. I wish I could take this pain from you, she cried softly to herself. I swear I would. The internet notices something is wrong. Fans noticed quickly. No posts. No jokes. No signature Cardi energy. Just absence. When she finally appeared hours later, briefly, her eyes were swollen, her voice unsteady. She didn't explain. She didn't name names. She just said. Sometimes life hit you so hard you don't even know how to stand back up. Please send love. That was enough. The internet exploded with speculation. A love tested by tragedy. Behind closed doors, Cardi stayed on the phone with Stefon for hours. No cameras. No headlines. Just 2 people sitting with pain. She reminded him of his strength. Of how far he'd come. Of how one moment doesn't erase a lifetime of greatness. And even as her own tears kept falling, she refused to let him feel alone. The real reason Cardi can't stop crying. Because when you love someone deeply, their pain becomes your pain. And what just happened to Stefon Diggs wasn't just a setback. It was a heartbreaking moment that shook both of them to their core. Cardi wasn't crying because she was weak. She was crying because she cared that much. And sometimes, love means breaking down together, so you can find a way to rise again. Here's a very long, dramatic, viral-style fictional story you can use for your YouTube channel. As always, this is pure entertainment and fictional storytelling, perfect for high CTR and emotional engagement. Backhand index pointing down. Cardi B can't stop crying after what just happened to Stefon Diggs. No one saw this coming. Not Cardi. Not the fans. Not even Stefon Diggs himself. It started as a completely normal day, or at least that's what everyone thought. Stefon Diggs had just finished an intense training session. He was exhausted but in high spirits, texting Cardi B non-stop, joking, teasing her, promising that once the season pressure eased, he'd finally take that long-planned getaway with her. To the public, Stefon looked strong, confident, unstoppable. But behind the scenes, something was about to change everything. I didn't feel right. According to those close to the situation, Stefon suddenly complained of dizziness. At first, he brushed it off, dehydration, fatigue, I'm good, he kept saying. That's Stefon Diggs, tough, resilient, always pushing through. Then it happened. He collapsed. Phones started ringing. Panic spread instantly. Trainers rushed in. Medical staff swarmed the room. Within minutes, everything was moving too fast for anyone to process. And Cardi B? She had no idea. She was in the middle of a recording session when her phone started vibrating uncontrollably. Missed calls. Voicemails. Texts that simply read. Call me now. The call that broke her. When Cardi finally answered, the voice on the other end wasn't Stefon's. That's when she froze. The words came out slow, careful, measured, the kind of tone that immediately tells you something is wrong. Cardi, there's been an incident. Her smile vanished. She dropped everything. Within seconds, tears welled up in her eyes as she listened, barely breathing. The room went silent around her. People watched as Cardi's knees buckled and she sat down, shaking. Stefon had been taken in for emergency evaluation. No details. No guarantees. Just uncertainty. Cardi B breaks down. Those close to Cardi say she completely lost control. She sobbed uncontrollably. Not the dramatic kind, the quiet, broken crying that comes when fear takes over. Her hands trembled as she kept asking the same question over and over. Is he okay? Is he talking? Can I see him? She blamed herself. She replayed every conversation, every joke, every, I'll call you later. She wished she'd insisted he rest. She wished she'd been there. She wished she could trade places with him. And the tears wouldn't stop. Fans noticed something is wrong. Within hours, fans began sensing something was off. Cardi went completely silent online. No posts. No stories. No comments. For someone who usually shares everything, the absence was loud. Then someone spotted her. Hood up. Sunglasses on. Face swollen. Walking fast, surrounded by security. And yet, her pain was visible. That's when the internet started whispering. Something happened to Stefon. Why is Cardi crying? This doesn't look normal. The moment she finally saw him. When Cardi was finally allowed to see Stefon, witnesses say she collapsed into his arms the moment she walked in. She cried into his chest. He tried to reassure her, weakly smiling, whispering, I'm here. I'm okay. But Cardi couldn't stop shaking. She kept touching his face, his hands, like she needed proof he was real, alive, still hers. She told him. You scared me. Don't ever do that to me again. Her voice cracked. What really hurt the most? It wasn't just fear. It was the realization that even the strongest people can be vulnerable. That fame, money, and confidence mean nothing when life reminds you how fragile everything is. Cardi reportedly told a close friend later. I thought I was about to lose him. That thought alone shattered her. The emotional aftermath. Even after Stefon stabilized, Cardi's tears didn't stop. She cried from relief. She cried from fear. She cried from love. For days, she barely slept. She stayed close. Watched him breathe. Held his hand longer than necessary. And Stefon? He admitted something that made her cry even harder. I didn't want to worry you. That broke her. Fans react, this is real love. When word finally reached the public that Stefon was recovering, fans flooded social media with emotion. This shook me. You can tell Cardi really loves him. This isn't for clout. She was terrified. Many said they'd never seen Cardi so vulnerable, not in music, not in interviews, not even in heartbreak. This was different. This was real. A bond stronger than ever. Whatever happened that day changed them. Cardi reportedly told Stefon she doesn't care about schedules, games, or fame, she just wants him healthy and alive. And Stefon? He promised her one thing. I'm not taking my life for granted anymore. Final thought. Cardi B couldn't stop crying because for a moment, she faced the unthinkable. And sometimes, love doesn't show itself in gifts, posts, or headlines. It shows itself in fear, tears, and the desperate need to not lose someone you love.
나는 아래를 쳐다보고 있겠지. 묘한 짜릿함 그 속에 머물다 보면 어느새 제주 행비행 신비한 세계로 나를 이끌고 거짓말처럼 하늘을 날며 어느새 제주 바다가 내게로 와 있네. 있어 아래엔 간혹 도시가 보이곤 해. 그 도시에는 또 다른 내가 하늘에 떠가는 비행기를 올려다보고 있겠지. 난 하늘을 보고 쳐다보고 있겠지. 묘한 짜릿함 그 속에 머물다 보면 어느새 제주행 비행 신비한 세계로 나를 이끌고 거짓말처럼